Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, what's up? We are on my bed once again and I wanted to make another video, but this time I wanted to talk about creating your own world and what that means. I'm gonna break it down for you, but before I actually start, it would be in typical fashion on this channel to apologize for something. And this time I do really mean it. I'm very sorry if you hear any background talking or random hawk sounds. Yeah, no, like I have my window open because I'm trying to welcome in the fall weather. I am enjoying the cold little breeze that's coming by, and there must be a hawk or an eagle or some kind of bird like in a nest by my window or something, because every 15 minutes I'm hearing a hawk, I think, and it's like, I don't even know if, because I said something now, if it's gonna happen. But enough rambling. Let's talk about what it means to have your own little world. So please tell me that picked up. Okay, that was so funny. I literally stopped recording just so I could go back to hear if that picked up, and it was so faint, but it was there. It was there, so you know what I'm talking about now. But yeah, that's been happening for like the last 15 to 20 minutes while I've been trying to record this, so whatever. Let's get into this. Let's get into it. Enough rambling. I saw a tweet or like an interaction on Instagram. Now I can't even remember the format. When I find this tweet, I'm gonna put it on the screen. But basically, it was somebody asking Lord something along the lines of like, Melodrama was such an important album for me, and then it became my boyfriend's favorite album, but now we broke up and ugh, I hate it. Like, how do I like not associate him with that album, or something along those lines? And Lord replied something along the lines of, your listening experiences are unique to that album. You've built your own little world that he will never know and never will be a part of. And that was literally like her mind. And I think it's something we all need to think about, like very critically think about. So at this point you have seen the tweet and you notice that the word cherish is in there, and that's what I really wanted to talk about. Cherishing yourself and protecting yourself and your energy from people who aren't going to see things the same way that you are. And the bottom line is that nobody ever is. Like, it doesn't matter how good of a relationship you have with someone. Someone can know you and like deeply know you, but they'll never be able to experience and know the same things that you have going on inside of yourself. And that can feel isolating. I know that can kind of sound scary, because that kind of like hits on the fear of being known and unknown. But the thing is, like, even though we have these two clashing fears, some people may deal with one more than the other. It's so important that at the end of the day, we know ourselves, and that's the most powerful thing of all, because having our own little world that we can fall back on, that we can cherish, and even if we're having issues with ourselves, we can still value the things that we love. Like, for example, like somebody who has body dysmorphia might like feel like every time they look at themselves, they're like, God, I just hate myself. I hate myself. They can say and have these thoughts about themselves, but if they see something that they love, like for example, Melodrama by Lord, they're not gonna say, oh, I hate that album. No. But the thing is, like, the things that we love and adore, they build up who we are. And you can't bring yourself to hate the things that you love. The things that you love make you lovable. When we're subjected to a world of social media. We are subjected to sharing everything, and it makes it so easy for us to overshare everything too. And like, that's not a bad thing. Like, it is super addicting to like have Twitter and just tweet out like, oomph, pissing me off today, you know? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing is, like, protect your peace, you know? Like, you don't have to share everything that's on your mind with everybody. I'm sure there's times where you've gone to like text or tweet or do something and you've had that like split second moment of clarity, like maybe not, or it's, you know, like it really doesn't matter. Having moments like that really ground you. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't post on social media, that you shouldn't overshare. In fact, I think it's awesome when people overshare. I love when I'm having a conversation with someone and I don't know them very well and they just start oversharing. To me, that's not a burden. To me, that's like, oh my gosh, you trust me to be a part of your world. And I can only hope that everybody else in the world kind of feels the same that way. But like, maybe it's just a particular archetype of person. I'm not trying to sound like a pick-me when I say that, but I do think there's really special people out there who want to let people in and they're not afraid to like share and embarrass themselves in front of others, even if it doesn't always land. That doesn't always mean that it's like a failure. Like, I'm the most socially awkward person ever. I can say that, like, kind of factually, but like when I'm at work and I'm oversharing something or I say something that like in my head after it comes out, I'm like, I really didn't need to say that to my 50-year-old coworker. Sometimes it goes in a way where they're like, oh, okay. And I can move on from that because I know that doesn't dictate my life. And then there's other times where I share that and somebody's like, okay, go Rain. And it's funny, you know, it's like a mutual understanding that we can get each other. And even if my 50-year-old coworker doesn't share that same experience as me, she can still find the humor and the closeness that comes with being open to see somebody else's inner world. This sounds like it's supposed to be way more spiritual than I intended for it to be, but there must be like a word for this that I just can't come up with and I can't find online. But the whole idea is that you have your own aura, pretty much. Like, you have a very keen sense of uniqueness. There's nobody else in the world that's exactly like you. You are your own dog, and you are a dog that can be trained socially to interact with others, but a dog still has its personality, right? Every dog has its own traits and personality, as do people. I think what I'm really trying to say is that, like, if it ever feels like someone's trying to invalidate your experience or invalidate who you are and how you present yourself, they'll never be a part of your inner world. And they'll never cherish the way you see the world in the same way that you do. And instead of looking at that as a harsh reality or like being negative and cynical about the world, it's actually so uplifting if you switch the mindset to think about that as like, wait, you're right, there's nobody else like me. Why should I even try to suppress who I am just for the sake of fitting in? Because at the end of the day, nobody is ever gonna fit in exactly the way that anybody else would imagine it. The only person that would want to do that, to suppress you, is somebody who's jealous of you. Somebody that, like, has a vendetta against you. And what their vendetta is, or what they're jealous about, that's up to them. That's their own quarrel that they need to, like, figure out with themselves. That is not on you. It's not your job to make others comfortable, but, oh, that sounds bad. Hold on. if you are truly being true to yourself, you're speaking from a place of passion, you're speaking of a place of love, and you genuinely are just being yourself, and it's harmless, and somebody is giving you a hard time for the way that you're presenting that, it's not your job to comfort them. Sure, there's like, we can get like situational here, and we could say like, maybe you're talking loud when people have asked you to quiet down a few times. Okay, fine. In that sense, even if it's like, well, I didn't even think I'm being that loud, it's easy to, you know, say like, oh, my bad, didn't realize that, and like remove the fact that they're not criticizing you for being yourself. They set a boundary, and sometimes we can overstep them. I feel like I'm making this so much more complicated than it needs to be, but at the same time, I feel like everything that I am saying, I'm like, wait a minute, like this makes sense in my head. So maybe this video is like the prime example of your inner world, like how I cherish it. Like, yes, I'm giving myself criticism for kind of blabbing and not making much sense because I am worried about the perception of whoever is watching this video. But that's the thing. You'll never be able to predict what people are thinking. You'll never be able to predict how people are going to react. Like, sure, you can, but like, it's not your job to do that. It's not your job to make everything perfect. You don't have to be a perfectionist. Nothing in this world is perfect. And that sounds like it could be so harsh, but that's the beauty of it, that nothing in this world is perfect. Everything always grows and evolves and changes. And it's like, you know, why would you want to fix something that isn't exactly broken, but it's not exactly perfect? Doesn't need to be perfect. I think it's important that what we resonate with, there's a reason why we resonate with it. We resonate with it because it's personal. We don't resonate with it because other people enjoy it. And I think that's like the key aspect of that lore tweet, is that like, even though the girl and the guy that she was seeing over the summer, even though they both enjoyed listening to that album, what resonated with them is always going to be different, no matter who it is. And that's a superpower. That is a superpower, because that gives you the strength to say, you know, what I resonate with is personal and it helps me grow. It helps me recognize the world around me. And what resonates with him isn't aligned with me. And if that doesn't align, that's okay, because that's not your path to follow. This is such a weird topic to talk about, because like, as I'm talking about this, I'm remembering how like I found this musician and I fell in love with them like right on first listen, and I was so excited to share this artist with my then partner, and that then partner was like, oh wow, this is really good, and it became one of his favorite musicians as well. And even though we both enjoyed listening to that music together, now that we've broken up, the songs from that particular artist, there's messages in there that I'm like, oh my god, this helps me get over this person. I will never know if that's the same experience that this now ex experiences. Do I care? No. Why would I want to listen to an album that I fully resonate through the perspective of someone that I don't align with anymore? You see what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to brag or be boastful, but see how powerful that is? You don't have to give someone who is an energy drainer any power if you can detach from the fact that they will never have the same experience as you. You don't owe them anything, and you don't have to prove yourself to other people. You don't have to prove like, oh, the lyric about like, I will always hate you, like, that doesn't mean I actually hate you. No, bitch, be passionate. Say it. Say, I don't want you in my life. And I like that lyric because that is how I feel about you. You don't have to hide it. And you don't have to explain yourself to friends. No. Because that's the thing, right? Like, we're thinking about this in the context of, like, relationships. But, like, think about it. Like, if you had a friend who was listening to, let's say, Melodrama by Lorde, it's not like you two are gonna have this, like, weird thing where it's like, oh my gosh, is Jenna thinking about Melodrama the same way that I do? Girl, no. So I wrote down, people can share the same interest. Jealous people will try to make their experience more significant. But the most significant thing about the thing that you resonate with is how it can't be replicated by another person. Wow. And that goes into what I was saying about you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. If you, like, feel like you have to defend your experience and you're, like, trying to explain this to people and, like, maybe sometimes they're like, okay, yeah, I get that, or sometimes they're just, like, shaking their head at you, you don't have to owe them the time and energy trying to explain your experience. You know, you can just say, like, oh, cool, I liked that too, or oh, okay, I didn't know if that, like, really resonated, or, like, whatever. You can have disagreements. You don't have to share the same love and interest for the same things. It's okay. And it's okay to set a boundary when people are trying to invalidate what you have experienced. All of this goes back into the inner world thing because, like, setting boundaries means that sometimes, especially when you start getting, like, really aware of when you need to set boundaries, it's one thing to be like, okay, well, this is my boundary. I can't hang out with you every single weekend. And somebody's like, okay, cool, and doesn't give you a problem about it. But when there's somebody where you've explained this to them once or twice and they're still like, what about this weekend? What about this weekend? And you're still saying no and they're still giving you a hard time for it. If there's, like, evidence of this happening on multiple occasions, of you having to put your foot down about a boundary, that is a reason to keep your gate locked for your inner world. Like, god damn it. Like, the people who have access to the inner world that you have surrounding yourself and your inner circle, the people who already have access to that have already been granted access because you feel comfortable with them. For example, if you're not afraid to be yourself around your friends, you could be yourself. You can crack a joke that you know wouldn't, like, maybe it wouldn't, like, land in front of your parents, but, like, you feel comfortable doing that with your friends. That is already, like, giving them keys to be in the inner world. But they don't even need to take the key. They don't even need to find, like, the door to that inner world. The last thing I wanted to say before this video gets way too long is that recognizing those boundaries, recognizing who has the keys and who doesn't, and most importantly, keep in mind, you are the only one with the key to the high point of the castle. You have your own room in your inner world that nobody else will be able to enter. They may live in your kingdom. They may live in your palace, but they'll never have the key to that little room up here. As I say that, though, it is so important to recognize if you've been trying to allow someone into this inner world and they're still disrespecting the surroundings in it, they're breaking boundaries, they're making you feel hurt time after time, they're making you feel insignificant in your own world, you have to recognize that is your sign to walk away. And if it makes it even easier to recognize this, just imagine time after time someone has hurt you and you've explained time and time to them why it hurts you and it's still not going anywhere. You're still stuck. The reason why you're stuck is because you're not realizing that they are the ones setting fires in your inner world. You keep calling fire trucks and ambulances to put this fire out because you're trying to protect your inner world. But they are the ones who don't want to protect your inner world, and you need to let them go. They're setting fires. It's not okay. Bye-bye. They get the chop. Anyways, I am done talking for the day, and I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you love content like this, please stick around. I have so much more thoughts that I want to delve into and talk about. Like, I have so much going on up in here in my little world that I do want to share with people. And I think it's important that we have our passions and we're able to share our passions in spaces where we feel like it's right. So yeah, thanks again. See you next time. Bye.